Works Procurement and Contracting Committee meeting to order for Wednesday, January 18, 2017. Roll call, please.
Calling the roll, Mr. Toomer,
Here.
Mr. Miller,
Here.
Ms. Conwell,
Here.
Mr. Shrine. Mr. Shrine is absent at the moment. Ms. Baker.
Here.
There is a quorum.
Okay. Is there anyone signed in for from the public for comment?
No, Mr. Chair, no one is signed in.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from the December 21st, 2016 meeting?
I so move.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? All right, the ayes have it. We currently have some,
Ask a question,
yes,
Mr. Chair?
Ms. Conwell, yes.
Can we do that since those two weren't here for the meeting?
Yes, it's just, you're just approving the minutes as presented.
May I change my vote to a abstain?
Yes.
Thank you.
Then well,
You're abstaining.
then I'm abstained as well. Well, that,
If both of you abstain,
then
then
that
the
won't
minutes
work, will
don't
it?
pass.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I was saying, because they
Yeah.
weren't here technically.
Right, but they can still vote on the minutes, but you still need a majority to
Okay.
approve the minutes.
Okay, well then I'll approve the minutes based on Councilman Miller and Councilwoman Conwell's approval of that. Okay. Under matters referred to committee here, would the clerk please read the resolution?
Resolution number 2017-0005, making an award on requisition number 38269 to Fabrizi Recycling in the amount not to exceed $6,973,651.30 for the 2016 Operations Resurfacing Program for Bagley Road from Olmsted Township West Corporation Line to Fitch Road in Olmsted Township.
Mr. Miller.
I'll make a motion that we accept the substitute version as the version before the committee.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the substitute version before the committee. All those in favor say aye.
Wait, we need a second.
Okay, I'm sorry, we need a second on that? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay? The ayes have it. And we have somebody for the committee this morning. If you please state your name for the record.
Dave Marquardt, Design and Construction Administrator with the Department of Public Works.
Okay, please proceed.
This is the Bagley Road roadway resurfacing project. It involves the extension of sanitary sewer, water line, and then the final resurfacing of Bagley Road in Olmsted Township. The scope of work involves resurfacing of Bagley from Fitch Road to the West Township County line. That's about 2.5 miles of roadway surface. It involves the restoration of a uniform cross slope and roadside drainage. The new sewer construction involves or starts about 1,000 feet west of the Stearns Road intersection with Bagley and goes to the West Township line, which is about 1.2 miles of new sewer construction. It involves the addition of 71 sewer service connections. The water line construction goes from Stearns Road to the West Township line. That's about 1.36 miles of new water line construction. And it includes 76 connections of different sizes. Bids were opened on November 29th, 2016. 8 proposals were pulled from OPD. 3 bids were received. Office of Procurement Diversity assessed a 7% SBE, a 17% MBE, and a 6% WBE goal to the project. Fabrizi Recycling's diversity plan was reviewed and approved by OPD. We're recommending award to the lowest and best bidder, the Fabrizi Recycling Incorporated company, for an amount of $6,973,651.30. That bid is 8.96% over the engineer's estimate of $6.4 million. The project falls in Council District 5. Our construction is planned to commence around the third month, March 1st of 2017, and will be substantially complete by February 28th of 2018, a 12-month period. Funding for the project is approximately 41% will be from the county road and bridge funds. 59% will be a combination of Ohio Public Works Commission Issue 1 grant and loan from user fees and from Northeast Regional Sewer District's Member Community Infrastructure Program funds. The Department of Public Works is requesting an approval on the second reading suspension of rules. If there's any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from members of the committee? Ms. Baker?
Thank you, Chair. So this is more than just a resurfacing. This is water line, sewer, and resurfacing.
Yes.
May I continue?
Sure.
With extensive road construction like this, are there any businesses that are affected by this, given that it is a 12-month? There's a school, I believe, that is also in the way of this construction. And is there any road closings that are being proposed?
Yeah, the maintenance of traffic for this particular project is mostly taking place west of Stearns Road and Bagley intersection. The traffic plan is in 4 different construction phases, so it's been phased to kind of minimize the traffic issues and access to for the residents. Basically, the section that's between Bronson and Stearns,
Right.
that would be section 2. That's closed to through traffic as we do the construction. But there will be a detour that uses Bronson, Cook, and Stearns for that particular phase. When people who are local to that area of the project need to access their property, we will be maintaining local traffic so that they can get access to their properties. When we say the road's closed to through traffic, the major traffic needs to go around the detour. The third section, which is at the west end of the project, it extends from the Lorain County line to Bronson Road. That will also be closed to through traffic. The detour there will be Lorain Road to Cook Road to Bronson. So in those 2 instances, we will have a detour route set up and a road closure with open to local traffic. When we get to work that's being done between Stearns and Old Fitch Road, we will be maintaining traffic in that section throughout the construction process. And we are doing some initial work at the beginning at Stearns and Bagley, but we'll also be maintaining traffic through that first phase as well.
Okay, any follow-up?
Just one, if you don't
Okay.
mind. Thank you for that. I know if there's any businesses or churches or those that it could really, especially a 12-month, can be very devastating to those businesses or those places where people tend to go, and detours are okay, but I would hope that, right, we would do all we could to make sure that that is a place where it's not difficult. My question on the water is, are those properties then, will they be assessed? Those, how many did you say, water lines?
There's
70?
a total of, I think it was 76
76.
water connections.
Right, will those property owners be assessed for those 76 connections?
When we extend water lines and sewer lines, we don't do it through specific assessment projects. We actually collect a tap-in fee when they go to use the water line or sewer line. And the tap-in fee includes paying for the local sewer costs and any trunk costs that have been developed. Those come from a study that was done back in 2005 on servicing the entire sewer district and what those charges should be. So those are established by ordinance, and we charge those at the time they connect.
May I?
Sure, Ms. Baker.
Thank you. Do we have an average of how much those owners would expect to pay tapping in? Is that something that can be assessed on their property, or is this something they need to pay for and get a loan for, or how does that work?
We have a method for them to extend the charge over a 10-year period.
10 year?
For sanitary sewer in 2017,
Okay,
the current local sewer fee is $10,979.87. We also have the trunk sewer fee, which is $4,710.51. And then we have a $210 permit that goes on top of that.
okay.
The water system connection fees for 2017 are $4,058.62 plus $1,391.80 plus a $50 permit fee. And that's to pay for the extensions of new water services.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Miller?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Marquardt, first of all, I'd like to say you had an awful lot of information there at your fingertips, and I'm impressed by that. I appreciate the good preparation.
Okay, thank you.
This Fabrizi contract that we're passing here, does this contract also include the water and sewer work, or is that portion being done by different contracts?
No, their contract includes all the water, sewer, and roadway. They may use subcontractors, which I don't have that list in front of me, but it includes all three.
And my second question is that this is the first contract that I've seen under the new program where we've had separate targets for SBE, MBE, and FBE, and I would just like to ask for if procurement and diversity could give us a little bit of information about that process and how those numbers are determined.
Okay, thank you. If
Good
you could.
morning.
Hello.
Lenora Lockett, Office of Procurement and Diversity.
All right.
As you know, the County Council approved executive sponsored legislation for the MBE program and WEB program in April of last year. We rolled out a vendor training informational session in August in collaboration with Public Works and Ken Surratt from Development and the Executive Office to detail the program. And in September, bids, authorities to advertise for bids, RFPs, and RFQs, if applicable, depending upon funding source and scope of work and available vendors, were assessed SBE goal, MBE goal, WEB goal. The MBE and WBE goals are based on the availability percentages detailed in the disparity study that was recently approved. So that's why it seems like those are awkward numbers, but they're based on our disparity study that said for this category, which is construction, there's an availability of 17% MBE, 6% WBE. And then from there, I'll assess an additional goal not to exceed the 30% because we still want the bid to be attractive to one contractor. So if they have to subcontract more than a certain percentage, then that'll reduce the competitiveness because not many primes will submit with those type of restrictions. So in this case, the 30%, once you backed out of the 17% for the MBE and the 6% for the WBE, that left 7% for the SBE. Now, keep in mind, that's the aspirational goals. They're not rigid quotas. So we're saying when we advertise is that we feel there are diversity opportunities for this distribution. Then when the prime submits their bid, we evaluate, A, are they meeting the specifications that are required? And B, whether or not they made an effort to have an equitable distribution. In this case, the prime bidder was, for the one we're recommending, the prime bidder was also a women's business-owned enterprise. In that case, our program gives 20% credit towards them. And again, our goal with providing opportunities that we want WBEs, MBEs, and SBEs to be aggressive and assertive and take on the prime role. So we gave the 20% credit. And to meet the other requirements, this vendor proposed to have 17.35% in MBE participation.
Okay.
So based on that assessment, we evaluated it as compliant with the county's
Okay,
policies.
Mr. Miller?
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, anything further? Ms. Conwell?
Through the chair to Lenore Lockett. You're stating that the prime bidder was female-owned. Fabrizi is a female-owned business?
Fabrizi Recycling, yes.
Okay. And when you have these different diversity goal percentages, we know as the county upfront who are the subcontractors that they've hired, or we don't know that information?
Yes, in order to comply with our SBE participation
to.
at that time, or our MBE or WBE, at the time that they submit their bid and proposal, they have to provide that details. Now, I believe there may be other requirements as far as the remaining subcontractors that Public Works has, whether or not it's work type or ODOT pre-qualified, that would be what they would speak on.
Okay, and since this is doing resurfacing as well as sewer work, would those same subcontractors be doing the sewer work as well, or the sewer company would get their own individuals to? I'm just wondering on these percentages, is it going to cover just the road surfacing or the whole project?
No, it covers the entire project. So if we're bidding and awarding a contract whose scope of work includes road, sewer, and water line, then we're going to evaluate what diversity opportunities there are based on the entire scope of work. Now, each prime bidder can determine which components of the scope of work that they want to subcontract to different vendors. And in order to meet our diversity goals, at the time that they submit their bid, they will need to tell us which vendors they're using to meet the different goals, and also what scope of work. Because again, we also, for the integrity of the diversity program, we want companies subcontracted work that they have a history and experience of providing.
I know this is just the first contract that we have, but maybe 6 months or maybe a year from now, you could tell us if that, including this diversity goals, which is great for the county, for the makeup of the people, how much additional work that costs your office? I mean, is it more difficult to do, or is,
Growth is always a challenge, but
Okay.
we're ready for it.
all right.
Okay, all right, that's a great answer. Quick question for you. I'm newer here, I'm new. And one of the questions I had is as Ms. Conwell was bringing up, as far as the subcontractors go, if a project goes on a year or so, and say a subcontractor has to back out of a project for whatever reason, do they have to submit the name of the subcontractor to you guys for approval as the project proceeds? Is that how it would work?
They definitely must do it for the SBWB
right.
participation. So if
Right.
we award the contract today, the subcontractors are contracting that's going to meet the MBE goal. If based on some circumstances, either it could be various reasons
Right.
they need to change, then they're supposed to submit a request to modify their diversity participation
Okay, so
plan.
there's actually a procedure in place for that. Okay, excellent. All right. Any other questions? Yes, I have one more. Okay, Mr. Miller?
My question is whether we have any sense for why the project came in 8% over the engineer's estimate.
Okay, it's a good question.
I think most of the cost is in the sanitary sewer construction. And I think it may have related to we use an average cost throughout the county as we do sewer construction projects. And I think there might have been some difficulties that they either knew about or could see. And it brought up their sanitary sewer costs a little bit.
Okay. Okay. Follow up, Mr. Miller? Good. Okay. Any other questions from the committee, members of the committee? Okay. Seeing none, can I have a motion to refer resolution number R202, I can't read it, 17, yeah, I think, didn't Dale do the amendment though? To agree to substitute?
You did
We
adopt a
did that
substitute
originally, yeah. Oh, okay, so yeah, we did okay, Mr. Dever, you have something you'd like to add first? Yeah.
Michael Dever with Department of Public Works. First of all, I welcome the new council members. I'd like to bring up, though, the one thing with this item is there's a bit of an urgency to move it along, and we were hoping that we may be able to, you would entertain the second reading suspension so we can move the project along.
Okay, I appreciate that. Any questions regarding the urgency to move it along?
No, you'll find, Mr. Chair, that most projects in Public Works will ask for an emergency.
Okay.
I'm just letting you know. I'm kind of a stickler for 3 readings, but in Public Works, it tends to fall out like
All
this.
right, okay. Any other questions, comments? Sure. Mr. Miller?
I'll make a motion to favorably recommend Resolution 2017-0005 to the full council with a recommendation to council leadership that it be placed on the agenda for second reading suspension.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. And that'll move on to second reading suspension, full members of council. Is there anything else from members of the committee with respect to business? Okay, seeing none. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak? I believe you said
No, Mr. Chair, no
no
one
one's
is on
here. Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and this meeting is adjourned. Okay, I'm supposed to hit the hammer.